Welcome to Linux classes. Let's continue and understand more about process management. So starting a process. When you start a process or run a command, there are two ways you can run it. The first way is your foreground process and second one is your background process. So we need to understand what is foreground process and what is background process. So foreground process, by default, every process that you start runs in the foreground. It means that whenever you type any command, you are working on a Linux box, you have got some terminal and you have simply typed the command ls command and you got some output. So this is called as a foreground process. It gets its input from the keyboard and send its output to the screen. If you're getting an output in the screen, so that would be your foreground process. So ls command I have fired and I got some output. So I have used my keyboard to type the command and I am getting an output. So at the back end, what happened? A process has been initiated. And in result, what we got? We got an output. So that process which has been initiated is called a foreground process. By default, every process that you start runs in the foreground. It gets its input from the keyboard and sends its output to the screen. You can see this happens when the ls command. Here you can see that I have simply fired the command ls and I got an output. So what happened at the back end? A process has been initiated and that process is called your foreground process. The process runs in the foreground. The output is directed to my screen, and if the ls command wants any output, which it doesn't, it waits for it from the keyboard. While a program is running in the foreground, it is time consuming. No other commands can be run. So what does it mean? Suppose you have typed the ls command and maybe there are thousands or maybe the lakhs of files are there. So obviously it will take some time to get the output of ls command. So while you have fired the ls command, you are not supposed to fire any other command until unless you get the output of the ls command. So this is your foreground command. This is what it is showing. While a program is running in the foreground, if it is a time consuming, no other commands can be run or start any other process because you won't get the prompt to type anything. So this is called a foreground process. We usually type the command and we are just wait to get an output. Now let's understand about the background process. A background process runs without being connected to your keyboard. If the background process requires any keyboard input, it waits. It means that suppose I have to run a job and the job is like suppose a backup process. I have to take the backup of the system, and to take the backup of the system I have a script for that, and when I run this script it will take some time, maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So what I can do here, I can schedule a job with the cron. In the cron, what I can do, I can schedule the job, and what will happen, the job will be started and I want the job should be running in the background. So at the mid time or whatever time, what will happen, the job will be started. I do not require any keyboard at that time to type it to start the program. Your cron job will start automatically. Or if you want, you can do it manually as well. How we can start the job in manually? Simple, you have to use ampersand at the end of the command. So the background process runs without being connected to your keyboard. So here you have to simply type the command and at the last you have to put ampersand. So what will happen? The job will be started, your program, your script, whatever, that will be started at the background. And after that, you will again get the prompt so that you can type any other command as well. So the advantage of running a process in the background is that you can run other commands as well. You do not have to wait until it completes to start another program. In foreground process, what we need to do, we have to wait for the process which you have run to complete first, then only you will get the prompt to start any other commands. But if you start any program and that would be in the background, so you do not need to wait for that command to complete. You will immediately get the prompt so that you can type any other command as well. The simplest The simplest way to start a background process is to add an ampersand at the end of the command. So let me show you how it's a. Here you can see ls command, and at the last I have type ampersand. So what will happen, this command will start at the background and you will get an output. So first time, the first line contains the information about the background process. Here you can see the output I have got it, and this is some job number I am getting, the job number and the process ID I got it. So you need to know the job number to manipulate it between the background and the foreground process. So once we'll be doing the lab session on that, so you can understand more how we can manipulate from your background process and your foreground process. So this is what the command is for starting a process at the background. So friend, that's all for this lecture. In the next lecture, we'll understand about the different states of the programs, and then we'll do the lab session so that you can have a better understanding about the process management. So thanks for watching, and if you have time, please join with me in the next lecture.